travel light.
Let's paint some Riftforged
Orc.
Hello, welcome to Electro Beard Miniatures. This week I'm going to show you how I painted my Riftforged Orcs. These are a new army that have just been released by Mantic Games. For Kings of War you'll usually paint 20 or 40 of these, but for this video I'm just going to show you how to do the one. I must have been the only person in the world who didn't use liquid poly to glue their plastic miniatures together, but now I've found it, I'll never look back. I'd like to say thanks to Luke from Geek Gaming Scenics. He's really helpful in offering advice on equipment and cameras, of which I haven't bought everything yet, but I'm well on the way. So check out Geek Gaming Scenics if you haven't already. So to prime my model I used the colour forged white foam, which is brilliant and works really well with the contrast paints from GW. For the skin I started with Plague Bearer Flesh, the contrast paint, and I give it a good covering just to make sure all the skin was covered. Once that was dry I went over it with the green wash from Vallejo. Next up we have black metal from Scale 75. The coverage of this paint is brilliant, and I went over the rest of the armour including the shield and the hammer, all one coat. Then it's just a simple wash with Nuln oil. Next up is dry brushing your metallics. For this I use something like a thrash metal from Scale 75 and then finished up with something like aluminium from Vallejo, but you can pick and choose whichever you wanted. As long as you've got a gradient of getting lighter and lighter, you should be fine. Next up we have the gold detailing and trim. You can use whichever gold metallics you want obviously, but I used Balthazar Gold as my base, and then I highlighted up with the Retributor armour, both from Citadel. As you can see I pick out some of the lightning and trim around all the different plates of the armour, and even some of the detailing on the hammer face. I think the gold trim helped break up all that silver armour and added another point of interest and contrast alongside the green skin. Now onto the green skin itself. For the first highlight I used P3 Necrotype Green mixed with Ivory from Vallejo, and then continued to add more ivory to that base mix to bring out further and further highlights. Build up the highlights over a few layers, focusing where the sun would probably hit the model, mainly on the head and the tops of the shoulders and the fingers. Next I've focused on a bit more detail, so we have the tongue which I painted with corn red, and the teeth, which I painted with Vallejo ivory again, and I used the ivory for white dots in the eyes so I can add some blue effects to make it look like lightning. I added a sepia wash to the teeth because all orcs don't have nice pearly whites, which I highlighted with ivory just so I can finish off the mouth. I wanted to add a bit more interest to some of the armour and the eyes, so I used Gulliman Blue glaze, which I think is now out of production from Games Workshop, but you might be able to find some. And I added this into the runes on the hammer, on the armour, and again, as I said, put some into his eyes just to make it look like he was electrified. As I said before, I used Vallejo ivory just to highlight his teeth, and then I used the same paint just to add an extra dot into the eyes just to make it a bit more interesting. Then finally I just added a bit more corn red, really thin down around the gum line, just to give that separation from the teeth and the green skin. And I think that's about it. Well, I hope you liked this video. I'm hoping to do a few more, and if you wouldn't mind hitting subscribe, that would be brilliant. See you soon.